For centuries, no one knew whether the man behind the Dracula legend was real or pure myth. Now, scientists have analyzed actual letters he signed nearly 550 years ago, and inside them, they found human molecules that reveal startling truths. Vlad the Impaler may have literally cried tears of blood. Science is now confirming details behind history's most famous monster that few believed possible. So what is real and what is legend? Vlad III ruled the throne of Wallachia in the mid-1400s. His reign is not folklore, it is recorded in ink and blood. Wallachia, a principality in what is now southern Romania, stood as a buffer between Christian Europe and the expanding Ottoman Empire. The man at its head was known to enemies and subjects alike as Vlad the Impaler. The name was no exaggeration. Accounts from the time describe forests of bodies, tens of thousands of victims impaled on wooden stakes, left as warnings to invaders and traitors alike. The numbers are staggering. Some sources claim as many as 80,000 people met this fate during his campaigns. His reputation for cruelty spread rapidly across Europe. Merchants, soldiers, and diplomats carried stories of his punishments back to the cities of Germany and Italy. Even the Ottoman Sultan, Mehmed II, confronted Vlad's tactics during the wars of the 1460s. These were not the actions of a myth, but of a ruler fighting for survival in a land under constant threat. Vlad's family history is just as real. His father, Vlad I, was a member of the Order of the Dragon, a secretive brotherhood of nobles sworn to defend Christianity against the Ottomans. In Romanian, Dracul means the dragon. Vlad III signed his name as Dracula, son of the dragon. The title was not fantasy, it was a badge of honor passed from father to son. Proof of his rule exists beyond stories, it survives in documents. Letters written in Latin, signed in his own hand. Dated between 1457 and 1775, these letters endured centuries of war, fire, and collapsing empires. Today, they are preserved in the Sibiu County Archives in Romania. They stand as physical evidence that Vlad the Impaler was not a shadowy legend, but a living prince who commanded armies, forged alliances, and shaped history. His reign was defined by constant conflict, betrayal from within, invasion from without. Every decision, every punishment, every sleepless night left its mark on his mind, on his body, and, as scientists now reveal, even on the paper he touched. The terror surrounding his name is rooted in the harsh realities of 15th-century power and survival. The man behind the Dracula legend was flesh and blood, not merely a story whispered in the dark. Locked away in the Sibiu County Archives, 3 letters sit under strict climate control. Each bears the signature of Vlad Dracula, written in 1457 and 1475. They survived centuries of shifting rulers, wars, and even fire. But their greatest secret remained hidden until modern science stepped in. Vincenzo Consolo and his team from the University of Catania wanted more than the words on the page. They wanted to know what the paper itself could reveal about its author. Instead of scraping or cutting, the scientists used a method called EVA extraction, a thin, flexible film made of ethylene vinyl acetate. The film was gently pressed onto the surface of each letter and left overnight. The film acted like a molecular sponge, lifting invisible traces left behind by the writer, tiny proteins from sweat, tears, and even breath. The next morning, the film peeled away cleanly, leaving the priceless documents completely unharmed. Back in the laboratory, the real detective work began. The film was washed in a special solution, releasing whatever it had captured. Researchers used high-resolution mass spectrometry to break down the mixture, searching for protein fragments known as peptides. The process was slow, but the results were astonishing. From just 3 letters, the team identified nearly 500 different peptides. Around 100 of them were human, far more than would be expected from later handlers or environmental contamination. The oldest and most degraded proteins were the most telling. These were the ones most likely pressed into the paper by Vlad himself as he wrote. Because the EVA method is non-destructive, the letters were returned to the archive unharmed. The CBU archivists, who had safeguarded these documents for generations, watched as science unlocked secrets no one imagined were still hidden within the parchment. For the first time, it became possible to study the physical traces of a medieval ruler, his molecules preserved for more than 550 years. The investigation then moved from the archive to the chemistry lab. Scientists examined the data from Vlad Dracula's letters, and among hundreds of protein fragments, a small group stood out. These were proteins associated with the eyes, tear gland enzymes, retinal proteins, and mixed among them, traces of hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is the molecule that gives blood its red color. Its presence alongside tear proteins pointed to something extremely rare, hemolacria. Hemolacria is the medical term for crying tears mixed with blood. It sounds like something from a nightmare, yet here it appeared in the chemistry itself. The evidence came from the combination of specific peptides. Some matched proteins found in normal tears, such as tear lipocalin, which helps keep the eyes moist. Others matched fragments found in blood, including hemoglobin and plasma proteins. Together, they form a biochemical signature seen in documented cases of bloody tears.
This was not the result of a single accident or a stray injury. The degraded condition of the peptides and their placement among the oldest molecules on the page suggest they originated from the original writer, Vlad himself. Hemolacria is extraordinarily rare. In modern medicine, it can result from infection, trauma, or extreme psychological stress. For a ruler constantly at war, surrounded by enemies, the body can fail in unexpected ways. The molecules left behind on the paper don't just speak of illness, they link Vlad Dracula, the historical figure, to the vampire legend in a way no story ever could. Blood from the eyes, not myths, not rumor, a trace left by his own hand, waiting centuries to be discovered. The letters revealed even more. Proteins linked to the lungs and airways pointed to chronic respiratory irritation. Other markers suggested inflamed skin, possibly lesions or sores. There were signs of severe stress affecting his urinary system, the kind of breakdown seen in bodies under constant pressure. The biological evidence aligns with what history records, a ruler living in fear, violence, in relentless conflict. Then came another surprise. Among the peptides, scientists detected fragments belonging to Yersinia pestis, the bacterium responsible for the plague. These protein markers are specific to plague and do not appear in other bacteria. The matches were precise, confirmed through controls, and double-checked with modern sequencing. No such markers appeared in blank samples or in documents from other archives. This was not contamination. The Black Death did not pass Vlad by. The plague was in the air he breathed, on the paper he touched, and woven into the fabric of his world. All of this was preserved in molecules left behind on just 3 pieces of parchment. Bram Stoker, writing centuries later, could not have known these details. He chose the name Dracula for its dark resonance, not for any medical mystery. Yet science now reveals a real man whose body mirrored the horrors of his age: war, disease, blood, and death. The line between legend and reality grows thinner with every discovery. Science uncovers what legend could only imagine: a human being shaped by brutality, illness, and the shock of blood in his tears. Today, the boundary between myth and evidence continues to blur, reminding us that truth, hidden in molecules, can still rewrite history. What else remains beneath the surface, waiting to be found?